This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Welcome, listeners. This podcast is safe for first-time readers because it's made by a first-time reader. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm the one who's taken on the task of reading through this 15-book mega-series. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's acting as my tour guide on this journey. Before we get into things today, we just want to welcome a new producer-level patron, Ward Weisensell, to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. He is going to join the ranks of newly appointed producer-level patrons as we've adjusted some of our tier benefits over at patreon.com/thewheelweaves podcast. So we want to acknowledge Joe Lott and Passion Socks as some long-time patrons who are now producer level. So awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone for your support and your generosity. Plus, this is our last episode of 2019. So Happy New Year, folks. This episode is a very exciting one because we are talking about 2 chapters.
Yes, and we are 3 chapters away from finishing this book. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Technically.
I just counted on my fingers to make sure. And yes, you're right.
So after tonight, there's 1 chapter to read, and you get to finish the book.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yes.
And this has been a crazy time of the year for us, too, because the holidays, it's 4 days till Christmas, so...
And I'm officially on my winter break from school, so I'm finished all my reporting. I'm finished everything. Unfortunately, got into a car accident. And
gigantic one, and rode off your car, so that's bad.
Yeah, and then I had to... I'm okay. Everyone's okay.
Yeah.
My car is not okay.
The car is dead.
So I've had to deal with that. We've had a lot going on. But I really want to finish the last chapter of this book.
Yes.
I haven't read in probably at least a week and a half, 2 weeks. Like, I've lost track.
And you forgot the most important thing about what's coming up.
Your birthday tomorrow.
Yay.
You're 30.
Yes.
Finally.
I
had to suffer through an entire month of being 30 without you being 30.
Yes.
Okay, so chapters 51.
Yep. So 51 is Against the Shadow.
Yep. And 52.
Which is There is Neither Beginning Nor End.
Ah.
Yeah.
Very philosophical.
Yes. And we'll get into that.
Yes, I know. And I think we really just need to get into things.
Yeah.
Because
these chapters are doing the thing where the last couple pages is just like a ton of information.
Of information. Yeah. And we have vowed that even if this episode is 5 hours long,
we're going to do it.
1 episode.
Yes, because we only have so many days to actually do this now.
Yeah, and I want to finish this book before the end of this calendar year. That's
that's the goal.
The goal.
And then in the future, we'll speed it up. But
right, so enough chatting. Fun fact.
And this one's actually pretty fun because it's a little bit of an introduction to a word we get in the next chapter in 52, Sa'angreal. And the reason I want to talk about this is because we got introduced to Angreal, which is basically like a tool to help you channel more power, and that's what Moraine has.
Yeah.
And then we get a hint in the second chapter here that there's also something called a Sa'angreal.
Even more powerful.
Even better. Yeah, more powerful. But the reason why it's really cool is because Sa'angreal is a direct play on the word Sangreal, which is in Old French, Saint or Holy Grail, because the Sangreal is the Holy Grail. Like the Jesus Holy Grail, which is said to be the Holy Grail was the cup that Jesus used at the Last Supper.
Right.
And then also like caught his blood when he was crucified.
Whoa.
And we're going to do a bonus episode in January about the story of King Arthur and how that relates to the Wheel of Time. And one of the quests that King Arthur went on was the search for the Holy Grail.
Right. And when do you talk about Monty Python?
It'll be in that episode.
Oh, good. Well. Okay. Because that's what I know.
Yeah, we're going to do a second podcast about Monty Python, too. Coming soon.
Yeah, not. All right, so chapter 51, Against the Shadow, and there is a picture of the sword hilt.
Yes, and we've seen this traditionally when Rand is getting into trouble.
Ah.
Yeah, and we definitely see some Rand getting into trouble here.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we last left our crew in a very tricky predicament.
Yeah, that's a light way to say it.
Yeah, some Forsaken have escaped their hell prison.
Yep.
Which is pretty bad news.
Generally speaking, bad news.
So they came and attacked these guys.
Because they were drawn by Matt and his dagger.
Or maybe I was thinking it was the fact that Baalzamon knew who he was.
Okay.
Because he showed his face.
Sure.
I don't know if I talked to you about that or if I've had that revelation since we've last talked.
We didn't talk about that last time.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe he was drawn by Matt because now they know who he is.
Okay, and so it's easier to find him.
So they were sent because they could follow Matt because they could see his face or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
sure.
So anyway, they were attacked by these Forsaken guys.
And do you remember the names of the Forsaken?
Aegonor
and?
Bealthamal.
It's a combination. Yeah, it's Balthamel. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What? That was really close.
Not Bealthamel. Because he's kind of said like Baalzamon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But Balthamel got totally destroyed by the Green Man,
yes.
who in turn also died.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
That was sad. But then Aegonor just like attacked the shit out of everyone.
Yes. And Moiraine was trying to hold him back.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like that was going so well.
Right. And everyone ran away except for Moiraine.
And Nynaeve is on the ground.
And Lan and Nynaeve, who are unconscious or dead.
Yes. They left it in a not so good situation.
Yeah.
For us as the reader.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And that's where we were left.
And then we got left on the final note of the sounds of Moiraine screaming.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So, we start out this chapter with Rand running away.
Yeah.
And he notes that Moiraine has stopped screaming, but it seems like her screaming had gone on forever.
Yes. Like you said, tricky situation.
Yeah, not a good thing. So, he keeps going, and then the land starts to slope uphill, and he knows that Aegonor will be after him soon.
Yes, and just a kind of a side note, he knows that it's him Aegonor will be after.
Right.
Not the others.
No, because of the way Aegonor looked at him.
Yeah.
When he was turned to run away or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
and was like, I know who I need to find now.
Yes. And so, at the top of this really steep hill, there's a sharp cliff that drops off on the other side.
Yeah.
And this reminds me right away of Rand's first dream.
Okay, when he like looked into the...
Because he was running away
yeah.
from something or someone, Baalzamon, I think it was in the dream.
That would make sense, yeah.
And he got to the top of a slope, and then it was nothing but a straight drop down.
Yeah, and we got what we thought was the Valley of Thakandar with the lightning and the evil and
this
the black clouds.
Just, I don't think it's the same, but it is definitely mirrored.
Similar, okay.
Very similar. So, he turns around and Aegonor is right there. He walks up this steep slope with no problem at all. And
which I gotta say, that's the best magical ability.
Is to just be able to walk up a steep mountain with no issue? Okay.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Rand notes here that he looks less old and less withered than
As
before.
As if Aegonor had just fed on something.
Gross.
Yeah.
Which isn't good, because I said maybe he gets powered up by, like, hurting others. He clearly just beat Moiraine somehow. I don't know. We do get that there is some sort of cord that's attached to him. We get that.
Yeah, we do.
In the next couple paragraphs here.
Okay.
And that's clearly feeding life to him.
Okay.
And my theory, like, we'll get to it, but that's coming from the eye of the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, it's heavily implied there.
Yeah. But anyways, at this point, Aegonor does not care if Baalzamon wants Rand alive, and he says that he will not share any power with Rand or bend his knee to him. Like, after all, he is the one who faced Luz in the Hall of Servants and matched him stroke for stroke.
Yeah, so let's break this down, because we get a little bit of a bad guy monologue here.
Yeah, we do. I mean, paraphrase.
It's traditional, right?
Yeah.
But the big question I have for you here is, we get this over and over and over again, that it doesn't really matter if Rand is dead or alive, as long as he turns to the dark side.
Right.
If it actually didn't matter if he was dead or alive, why don't they just kill him?
Yeah, but Baalzamon has already said, it's better if he's alive.
It is.
Easier dead, better alive.
But
and
then
I
they
think
keep saying,
these bad guys are opportunists.
Okay.
And they want what's better for them if they can help it.
Okay. So it's like they're still giving him... Because Agenor clearly is a different person than Balzamon.
Oh, yeah. And he's clearly been told to bring Rand alive.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't care about that. I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to share my power with you. And I'm going to have to if you're alive.
So second question to that is, why in the world would there ever be a situation where Agenor would have to bend the knee to Rand?
Well, because...
What's that all about?
I think that if Rand bends the knee to Baalzamon...
Okay.
And because that's what Baalzamon wants. Serve me, let me be your master. Basically, we can work together. It's very Emperor and Darth Vader.
Yeah, very Star Wars-y.
Very Star Wars-y. But in the same fashion, Rand, much like Hayden Christensen, very strong. Probably stronger than the Emperor with the power, the force, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And so...
Like raw strength we're talking. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And so it seems that if Rand were to join the dark side, he would be like second in command almost.
To Baalzamon, and then Agenor would be below him.
All of them would be below because obviously Rand is really freaking good.
Okay. And that would piss off Agenor for sure.
Yeah, he's like, no,
okay, I got that.
Like, I'm not going to be like usurped in my position here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what it seems like anyway.
Yeah, no, that's a good comparison. I think Star Wars did it justice here.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rand has nowhere to go and starts feeling really trapped. Like he's trying to back up, but behind him is the cliff drop, and he knows now that Agenor is like for sure just gonna kill him.
Yes, and we have totally seen these Rand thoughts of escape over and over and over again.
Right, because he's in a tough spot, and his skin starts to crawl, and he thinks that there has to be some way for him to escape, some way to get out. And I put a note, channeling event coming.
Yes.
Because that's the typical signs. He's in a life or death situation and his skin starts to crawl. He starts feeling weird. And boom. Rand notices a strange cord running from Agenor to something unknown. A cord made of light that seems to be pulsing and giving the Forsaken all his strength and power.
Gotcha. Because the initial, introduction to Agenor where it looked like he just fed on something, it kind of implies that he may have fed on Moraine in some way.
Yeah, like vampire type situation.
Like suck your soul out of your body and become stronger.
Yeah.
If anyone saw The Mummy, did you ever see that?
I actually didn't.
Okay, The Mummy,
I've heard
way
Brendan
back with...
Fraser is just
awesome
wonderful.
In it. He's fantastic. But in The Mummy would eat the people and then regain his face and his body by eating people.
Ah, yeah, that is what this sounds like.
And this was exactly the same time as a child that I was watching The Mummy.
That
I was
so
reading
that's
these
what
books,
you've always...
Oh yeah, 100%. So, but yeah, so it seems like this cord is a bright cord of light that is likely coming from...
the Eye of the World.
The Eye of the World.
Yeah, that's what I said. Is this the true source? Where does it come from? The Eye of the World, maybe?
Yeah.
So...
Well, we got to also see Agenor look over longingly to the cavern in the previous chapter, where he's wanting to go there because he finally found what he was looking for. So.
Right. And so this cord, though, this pulsing light cord...
Yeah.
Which I have to tell you, I really can't wrap my mind around.
Okay.
Even reading it a couple of times, I'm still sort of like, what? It's kind of Matrix-y. I'm picturing, how they get plugged into the back of their neck?
Yeah.
With, a light cord.
I think you could honestly envision it like that.
Yeah.
But just consider the fact that traditionally with the One Power, a person is drawing it from the wheel, basically. Right? From... within themselves. But this pool of Sidene at the Eye of the World is an outside source, so they have to literally draw it from that pool.
Gotcha.
So this is like a giant siphon, if you will. The gas tank is the eye, and their body is where you're filtering it into.
Okay, and I just had a thought, because we found out that this particular... You keep saying Sidene. Is that how I pronounce... I've been saying Sidene.
Yeah, in the glossary, it's Sidene. You can say Sidene.
It doesn't matter. It's interchangeable. this one's okay?
Yeah.
Some aren't okay.
I say side in sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got that this particular source is untainted.
Yes, it's pure.
It's pure,
and you'll note that
untainted.
This light source, the cord is
pure light.
Pure light.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And I'm definitely coming back to this.
Okay.
Not this chapter.
Put a pin in
Next chapter.
Yes.
Definitely. Definitely, because a light bulb just went off for me.
Okay.
Okay. So this light cord calls to Rand's soul or something,
yes.
and it starts to lift away from Aegonor and attaches to Rand.
So Rand sees the light cord and is starting to pull a cord away from Aegonor to himself. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning, just a finger's breadth. Yeah. Like very little amount.
Right.
Aegonor does not like this.
No, he gets super pissed off. It's his, and Rand can't have it.
No one taught Aegonor how to share.
No. And Rand thinks about how he has to get away, and the cord pulses to fill his mind and body with light. Rand uses the void successfully to leave a space in his mind for himself, which is sort of interesting, so it doesn't take him over completely, but the light blinds his mind so he can't think.
And I think it's just a call to the fact that there is so much power here.
Yeah.
And Rand is totally untrained. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing.
No clue. He doesn't even understand that he's literally channeling the true source, like one power, whatever.
From the eye of the world.
Yeah.
And, like, literally grappling with Aegonor for this power.
Yeah, he doesn't even know. But Aegonor is crying out that it is his. I say, sort of like the seagulls from Finding Nemo. Mine. Yeah. Yeah.
Before we go on, I do want to point out one important thing, too. It's just about the description of Saidin here.
Okay.
We get the description of Saidin being light in his mind.
Yeah.
And if you read back to the previous chapters in chapter 49, when they get into the Green Man's domain, it was a description of the Rand's mind and the void forming, then shivering into 1,000 points of light, reforming and shivering again and breaking.
Okay.
So it's just that light in his mind is essentially the power.
Okay. Interesting.
Do you remember what you hypothesized at the very beginning of this series about the void?
That he was going to use the void to channel the power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that as a note later on.
Okay.
Because I definitely called myself out on being right. So,
oh, yeah. And what's funny is I think that was in like chapter like 3 or 4 or 5 or something.
Try chapter 1, The Empty Road.
Was that where it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that where you made the prediction?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure at that point in my mind I was like, oh my god, I can't say anything.
Yeah. I think that one, I don't know, that one seemed like a free gimme.
Sure.
That seemed like an easy one to me.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's, like sort of magic and power in this place or in this universe, in this series. And I know that Rand had to have been important, and he's probably going to have something to do with the magic.
Yeah, because he's the main character.
Yeah.
So.
And then they call to this flame and void where he has to...
like, focus and
calm his mind. I don't know.
It might be a gimme to you, but I'll tell you that it generally for, I think, at least myself, I'll speak, it wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, you were young.
So, yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Anyway, back to Aegonor acting like a kid who doesn't want someone to play with his toy.
It's true.
Yeah. Mine. It's mine. It's mine.
It's not yours.
Can't have it.
Don't take it. It's mine.
Plus, flames shoot out of his eyes.
Okay.
So that reminds me of Bale's one.
Yeah, but let's break this down because it's a description of Rand and Aegonor grappling for the power and Rand trying to escape, and at first taking just a little strand of the power, but then it growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
And Aegonor is fighting with Rand for this power, and then he like screams, not in happiness.
No.
And his eyes not burn with flame, like flame shoots out through his skull.
Okay.
Yeah, his head blows up.
Oh.
That's what's happening here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll say that because we get a definitive view on that later on
totally
in this.
Blew up.
Yes.
He exploded.
Yeah. Something exploded through his head.
Oh my god. Yeah. Crazy. Anyway, weird. Okay. Rand thinks that he needs to be away, and then suddenly, conveniently, he is away.
Yeah, remember the last time that somebody needed to be away and then suddenly was really, really far away?
Yeah. Buddy Lose.
Yeah, Buddy Lose in the prologue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I did think about that. But, so he is somewhere else. So he's in some mountain pass, but the air is icy. So I assume he's out of the blight. And then I think maybe he is in Shale Ghul, and this is sort of like his dream. Because in his dream, he was falling. Like, he decided to go off the cliff, but then he landed somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, that initial dream, like, it's very similar to that.
Did you reread that dream sequence?
I didn't, actually.
Okay.
I didn't. I should have, in preparation. But I like the fact that it reminds me of it.
Yeah.
Like, because it's sort of, that's a distant memory of my mind, and I only remember some points.
That's why rereads are important.
I think if I reread it, I'd be like, oh, no, this is completely different.
Yeah.
But I like that I didn't reread this one, because that's
It's kind of like what's left as an impression on you.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And I think that's what matters right now in this.
But did you figured out where he actually is, though?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So, right away, I went, oh, never mind. He's at Tarwin's Gap.
Oh, snap.
And there is a end of a battle happening all around him against, like, Trollocs and Fades. And then I went, yep, definitely the battle at Tarwin's Gap. All the men have, like, banners from Faldara and Shinar and stuff. And plus the Trollocs have banners, too.
Yes, which is cool, because if you look at the Trolloc banners, they
Horn Skull,
yep.
Blood Red Trident, and Iron Fist, like the chapter picture.
Which is why that skull is a Trolloc skull.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you read back and look at all those Trolloc symbols,
yep.
Pretty cool.
It is very cool. Callback. So the people and the Shadow Spawn there start to notice that he's there, and then the Drakkar that are all like circling above this battle start to just like dive bomb him, and he feels intense heat inside from the light, and then bolts of like lightning strike from the sky to hit every single one of them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
100% Rand is channeling.
Oh, for sure.
No doubt about this. But I want to kind of make a couple of big points here about the size of this horde.
Okay.
Because we talked about this back when we got introduced to Egelmar, and why he was so adamant that he needed Lan to come and bring his army that he could summon and get Moraine and as much help as possible. So we knew were outnumbered 10-1. And both sides separated because they're doing one final charge. And the Shi'Narns are clearly going to all die in this last charge. And then poof, Rand pops up in the middle of this battle.
Mm-hmm. Just on like a convenient little detour.
Yes.
Because the pattern willed it.
It's
something.
Important. And we'll get to the why in a second.
Okay.
But the size of this army, it says there are hundreds of Fades.
Yeah.
And we know that a Fade typically leads like 100 to 200 Trollocs.
Well, I was going to say more. I thought it was more than that.
So a fist of Trollocs is typically led by one Fade.
Yeah,
which is
but
1
I thought,
to 200.
That's what I thought. It was more than that for Trollocs. I thought it was like 300 or 400 or something.
But like if you remember Moraine, when they did that initial battle at the beginning of the book, there was 4 Fades.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And here there's hundreds, not 100.
Yeah, that's crazy. I definitely glazed over that.
And the reason why I say
that...
that...
lots of them.
But the size of this army is literally impending doom for all of Shi'Nar. And going forward, that's the Trolloc Wars all over again.
Yes.
So you can see why Egelmar was like pretty insistent.
Yeah. But now Rand's here, and he is all intense. Like, so intense. And it's almost like the light is moving through him, and the power is like controlling what he should do.
Yes.
Because it's like almost like this innate ability,
sort of,
to be able to know, or it's just sort of like happening.
Well, let's talk about this. Did you write down the moves or the
So he grabs
things he does? Yeah.
the grass with his hands because he's all like unsteady or something.
Sure.
And then the grass like bursts into flames around him, and he shouts, "No!" And then there's a huge firewall that like races towards all the Trollocs and Fades.
Yeah.
And then he punches the ground and makes the ground like toil and roll like crazy and move all around.
Yeah, like waves breaking through the earth.
Yeah. And so here's what I thought of. This is very similar to what Moraine did when they were being chased from Baerlon.
Yeah, absolutely. the first description we ever got of Moraine was her summoning ball lightning
bolts down on the Trollocs.
Exactly.
Yep.
And he does the same thing to the Drakkar.
Right.
And then the Wall of Fire, and then the Earth Rippling. So this is 100% Rand doing what he's seen Moraine do, or heard about her doing.
Yeah. Very effective.
Yeah. It works.
Yep.
Right?
It is. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, he does have a good teacher, I guess.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the dust sort of clears and the earth stops moving and a lot of Trollocs are dead and stuff, and now the human army has a chance against them.
But again, let's bring it back to how many Trollocs and Fades and Drakkar he just killed.
Yeah.
They were outnumbered 10-1.
Yeah.
And now it's 2-1.
Yeah.
He
Why
did so much
couldn't he
damage.
Get the rest of them?
He's busy.
No.
He's got no time for that now.
Yeah, I know. That's my line. Oh, man. So Rand yells, "Damn you, Beelzebub!"
Yeah.
Well, actually, he says, "Light blind you, Beelzebub." Same thing. But
it is the same thing.
This has to end. And then there's just capital letters.
Yes.
And it's not in quotes, but it's clearly coming from somewhere.
Do you want to know something?
Yeah.
So, when this book was released, biggest question mark ever.
So, is this yelling out so everyone can hear, or just in Rand's head? Is that the question? That's my question.
Everything about this is a question mark.
Still.
Not necessarily.
I bet it's answered now, but...
Okay, yeah. But when the book came out, huge. Bombshell. What is this? Who is this? What's going on?
Okay, so in the book it says, "It is not here. I will take no part. Only the chosen one can do what must be done if he will."
Yes. So, from what it sounds like, this is directly into Rand's head. Okay. It reverberates and shakes his brain. It doesn't sound... So this isn't
like... You know what I actually pictured? The Battle of Hogwarts.
Okay.
And Voldemort, when he makes his voice project everywhere.
Gotcha.
So everyone can hear, "Bring me Harry Potter by midnight."
So this is not that.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what I was like, oh, maybe it's that.
Yes. So this is not what that is.
Okay.
But that's also a Harry Potter reference.
It is.
And for my birthday, we're going to take some shots.
I bet we're going to do more than one tonight.
Possibly.
That's my...
If everything goes to plan.
I'm pretty good at predictions.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go get those. Okay. Back.
Yes.
With 2 shot glasses that we have not used. I think these might be the last 2 in our collection.
Because one is super boring and one is the least boring that you'll ever see.
It's big. It's a
gigantic.
Big, gigantic cowboy boot.
Yes. So mine is from Cabo San Lucas, and to paint you a picture, it's a giant, about the size of my fist, cowboy boot, and it's bright pink.
And guess who bought that for me?
Spencer?
You.
What?
You brought that back for me.
No.
Yes.
Nope. There is no chance that I bought this.
Okay, well you did, and you must have been very drunk when you did it.
Well, it was Cabo San Lucas.
Because it's also pink and snakeskin.
Oh, yeah.
But not real snakeskin. But
it's got the impression.
It's got the impression.
Okay.
And this little neon orange plastic shot glass might look boring. But it has a fun story.
Okay.
It's from Spencer's 21st birthday.
Wow, that's fun.
And we drove from Winnipeg to... I want to say Fargo, North Dakota?
Yeah.
Or Grand Forks, one of the two. I don't remember which. We went down there, and everybody in our crew was already 21, and Spencer was turning 21 in July, and no one thought, what about Danielle, who's 20?
Oh, no.
So we got there. I couldn't get in to a single bar, and we ended up having a dance party in the street.
Well, you know, it's Fargo, so...
Yep. It was fun, and it was a good night, but this shot glass is from when we were drinking in the hotel before we went out.
Nice, yeah.
So there we are.
Well, that's
because
fun.
I was legal.
Which is kind of
funny. From where I'm from.
By like 3 years.
Yes.
So.
I know.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what this is from. And
that
Spencer will enjoy that story.
I still can't believe that I bought this for you. And I feel bad for pinning that on Spencer.
Yeah, she keeps creeping into our stories.
Yeah, all
anyway,
right.
Cheers.
Cheers. How do I drink from this?
I don't know. Okay, let's get back to this, though. So, not Voldemort in the sky, but more someone or something in Rand's head.
Well, a couple things I want to bring up, because back right from the very beginning, the text and the capitalization is very important in Robert Jordan's writing.
Okay.
So just a note, the voice that we're getting here is all capitalized and it's all italicized. And there are no quotation marks, and it seems to be directly into Rand's skull.
Yeah, I have to tell you, when I was reading this, no question in my mind, thought this was Baal-Zimon.
Okay. We have never seen Baal-Zimon's speech written like this.
No, but we've also never seen Baal-Zimon speak when he's not around. True. When he's not in person.
Okay. So that's the question, is who is this?
Yeah. But now you're making me question, and now I want to say it's probably like the creator or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's a theory. Okay.
Wild accusations. Why
Any
not?
other crazy theories of who it could be?
That's it.
Okay.
Gandalf.
Hey. If anyone was going to save the day.
You know what's sad? My car was named Gandalf. Gandalf the White. It's gone now. But I'll get a new white car and it can be reborn as Gandalf the White. Again. Well, he's reborn from my friend's car, who was Gandalf the Grey.
Who was also totaled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gandalf the White again. I should probably just name my car something else. You probably should stop naming your cars Gandalf because they keep getting in car accidents.
He's not like the most helpful at all times. So.
Right. Okay, so not Gandalf. Anyway, moving on. Rand asks where. And then there is some stairway to heaven that reveals itself.
Yep.
Except not so much to heaven.
Well, it's an interesting thing because, again, it calls to the who is this, what's making this happen. Is Rand creating these steps, or is this something else? Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Yep. Is it just him being who he is?
Yep. Okay, so the human army is starting to charge again, and Rand is lost in all this dust and will for sure be trampled, so he starts to climb the stairway, thinking that it has to be ended.
And you do hear what the human army calls out.
What?
The light wills it.
The light wills it.
Because they literally just had something or someone come into the middle of this battlefield where they thought they were going to die. And just destroy and rip apart this Trolloc army.
Cool.
Yeah, they're pretty pumped now.
So, when Rand steps onto the stairway, everything immediately goes black, and the stairs are still there, but so is the light cord that is attached to him, and it pumps life and light into him.
Yes, so probably what was bumping into Agenor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, at the top of the staircase, Rand finally comes to a door, one he remembers, and when he touches it, it shatters.
Yes. And this is the door from the dreams with Baal-Zimon.
Right, because then he is in the room that he remembers as well, and it's totally the room from the dream. Like, no question, absolutely. It's the room with the balcony that doesn't have a railing and a fireplace and a polished table. And so then I start to question, is he dreaming now?
Or did he take like a staircase into this dream?
Yeah, is this all a dream? Is he really here? And then that made me ask questions about the war.
Did that actually
happen? I don't know. So Rand thinks he might recognize some of the faces in the fire now, but no time for that now.
Yeah.
The computer's starting up. He holds on to the void, and we don't think about that again. So he looks in the mirror and sees himself now. So he's no longer like all blurry, and he thinks that there is calm in the void, and he holds on to it. So we get so much mention about this void. Void.
Yes.
So Baal-Zimon is suddenly there and starts talking to him. So he tells Rand that he knew Aegonor's greed would overcome him, but none of it matters now, and he knows who Rand is, so the search is over.
So what does he mean by Aegonor's greed?
Because he wanted to kill him. He was too greedy. He wanted the power for himself. He didn't want to share it. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it does seem that way because Aegonor was fighting Rand for the power of the eye.
Right.
So
Rand says that he is tired of running and tired of his friends being threatened, and he notices that Beelzemon has a cord too, but his is black and eats light. But good for Rand, sticking up for himself and his friends. He's not running anymore, and he's facing the bad guy in the face.
Yeah, right in the face. So, I mean, there is something to be said for Rand standing up for himself.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
I think so. So, Beelzemon says there are only two choices. Kneel before him and get a bunch of cool power, or be Tar Valen's puppet and be ground into the dust of time.
Yeah, and we've heard this argument
lots of
times. Yeah.
And Rand stands up to him again and says that there are other choices for him. The wheel weaves the pattern, not Beelzemon, and Rand has escaped every trap that Beelzemon has laid for him, plus he destroyed his army along the way to tracking him here. So, go Rand. Yeah. Oh, you know that little detour I took where I just, destroyed your Trollocs and Fades?
And I mean, Rand's getting a little bit ahead of himself. He's trying to fake out Beelzemon, who clearly knows what's up. It doesn't seem like Beelzemon knew about him destroying the army necessarily.
Yeah.
Because he seems a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah.
But he gets the bluff called out pretty quick.
Well, yeah. I don't know if it's Rand getting ahead of himself or if he's trying to fake throwing him off. I don't think it's that. I think Rand actually thinks he's destroyed the army and he's just full of all of this confidence, and I don't even necessarily think it's false confidence. It's
not about the army, it's the fact that he says, I tracked you here. Rand tells Beelzemon that he tracked him here.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't seem like Rand did any tracking to get here. It seems like that staircase wasn't of his doing.
No, but at the same time, all of this is sort of happening in Rand's head, so I could see why he thinks that it's him doing it.
That's true from Rand's point of view.
Yeah.
He's just I guess
I
there's
did
stairs now. Yeah. So.
Okay, well, this really does piss Beelzemon off. The eyes roar like furnaces.
Yeah, that's how you know he's angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he says a bunch of interesting things.
Yes.
A lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
So, he tracked Rand since the day he was born. And the Aiel were allowed to flee and one to live to speak words.
Yes, and that was a story of the Aiel, the group of maidens.
Right.
From 20 years ago.
From 3 years ago or 20 years ago?
20. So the maidens, this was the story from Rain, when we first met the Tinkers that Perrin and Egwene heard with Elias, and this was 20 years ago.
Okay.
And the next story that he talks about is Jane Farstrider.
Right, and that's from Lan's baby story.
The Malkier story. So
he's the guy who revealed the Dark Friend.
Yeah,
right?
Cowan Fairheart. Who was teaming up with Lan's aunt to try and take over the kingdom.
Yeah.
And then Jane Farstrider is the one who exposed the Dark Friend and brought him back for the king to basically kill in one-on-one combat, but it was too late and Malkier fell. And Jane Farstrider is the guy who has a book written about him that Tam likes.
Right.
And was reading.
Right.
Yes.
And so apparently all Beelzemon's plans
and the important part about that
happen.
And if you put out time frames here too, we know Malkier fell less than 50 years ago, and then Jane Farstrider, that event happened 3 years ago. So the man who went to the Ogier that Beelzemon's bragging about here is a story that they hear about the man going to the Ogier
and then
telling the story and then leaving.
Loyal telling Moraine that same story.
Exactly. So if you think back to that man who got into the steading then all of a sudden getting better, right?
Yeah.
If that was something to do with Beelzemon, which Beelzemon's literally saying right here,
yeah,
that's 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, that is all very confusing. And then there's also Black Aja involved.
Yes.
Going around looking for Rand.
Which Balsamon has taken credit for already.
Right. But this also calls into the woman from the stable.
Yeah.
Who's a dark friend who tried to kill them.
Yeah.
Who was dressed awfully like an Aes Sedai.
It's true. Didn't use any power.
No. Maybe was instructed not to.
Possibly.
I don't know.
It's all... But this is the thing, is that the best lies are ones that sound true.
Yeah.
So Balsamon is the father of lies, basically.
Yeah, he is. That's the tricky
how much
part.
of these things are actually true and how much is puffing?
Yeah. No one will ever know.
Yeah, nobody.
Ever.
Yeah.
So, let's move on. So Rand steadies himself in the void because there is even more mention about this void, and I knew it would be important. This was my call to, I'm right.
Yeah, you are. 100%.
Yeah. So Baalzamon goes off again about how it doesn't matter if Rand is dead or alive, and Rand should kneel to him, or he will kill him and his soul will kneel. Rand says that he denies Baalzamon and says he has no power over him. Go, Rand. He's remembering something Moiraine told him to say.
Yeah, deny him. Deny him. Yeah.
Yes. So, Baalzamon then resorts to another trick. And Egwene and Nynaeve are all of a sudden standing there with another woman who turns out to be Rand's mom. Boom. Roasted.
Yeah, crazy. All right.
Well,
I have questions about this too.
This is such an oh shit moment.
Very much so, yeah.
Especially for Rand, who's like, mother? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like from what we know, Rand was really young when Carrie died.
Yeah.
So we don't even know how much he actually remembers of her.
Right.
So.
But the only way he really recognized her was her gray eyes, her red hair, and her Two Rivers clothes.
Yes.
Really. Like, that's all he...
And then her, like, talking to him.
Yeah.
So.
Also that.
Yeah.
So Rand tries to deny him again, says that Egwene and Nynaeve are safe away from here, and that's enough to sort of make them drift away.
Yeah.
And not be part of this anymore. Okay, I can't fool you. And
with
then,
that one.
With that one.
Yeah.
And then he says, and my mother is dead. And he's like, yeah, that's why I control her,
so,
basically.
My question for you, because we get a whole bunch of stuff happen here with his mom.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is actually the soul of Carrie Althor?
No.
So you think it's just a big ol'
lie.
Big ol' lie that Balzamon's trying to just like play into Rand's feelings. So it's not Carrie Althor's soul.
The only reason I don't think that
is
because of how quickly and easily Egwene and Nynaeve disappear.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We have no reason to 100% assume either one of them are dead.
No. I don't think so. But the fact that they all showed up, they are women in Rand's life that Baalzamon thinks Rand cares about.
Okay.
They all showed up. Yeah. And it probably would have been Egwene crying that, or something to get Rand to falter in some way. Yeah. Like that's clearly the ploy here is to distract him, to get him emotionally, like sort of discombobulated in a way, like to sort of
throw him off,
and right away Baalzamon's like, "Okay, I didn't get you with these guys." How about this one?
But we know that your mom's dead, so still pull up her specter. Yeah.
I just, thinking about it now, I'm going to say no, that this isn't her.
Yeah, okay. And in the moment, Rand definitely thinks it is her.
Yes.
Because it's a whole... I mean, when you think about the Dark One, does he really get to claim everyone who's ever died? Like, does that make logical sense to even
Didn't Moiraine call him something about the Master of the Grave or something like that at one point?
Yeah. I mean, and that's a very typical thing where, like, the Dark One the devil, right, controls,
all
death.
The death, yeah.
But, I mean, that's the thing is, like, the Dark One, does he get to have that power over everything that ever dies?
Yes, and she says that the Father of Lies is now her master because of how strong he is now, and she says that Rand can save her, and she cries to him to help her.
Just come to the dark side and you'll save me.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fake out.
It sounds like a fake out. Like, I didn't 100% buy it. The only thing is at the end when she's like, yay, the light saves us. Like, that seemed a little bit off, but...
Father of lies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I was an evil person and going to create a specter of my enemy's mother, I'd probably do something like that too, so...
Okay,
yeah.
Well... Anyways, because some fades show up and rip off her clothes and just start torturing her with whips and pinchers and stuff.
Yeah, so this is like some serious adult theme too.
I think that was just to make her more vulnerable.
Okay.
So that Rand sees how she's being hurt and tortured.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't see the sexualization of this at all.
Okay.
For me when I read it.
Yeah.
So that's all. But Rand here echoes the screams of his mother, and then the void boils in his mind, and all of a sudden he has his sword in his hands, and it turns out
that is not his sword.
It's not his sword, but also Beelzemon's plan to throw him off here has backfired.
Yeah, it's like he went too far.
Powered him up.
Yeah.
If anything.
He was hoping this would break him.
No, opposite.
And yes. Whoops.
Yeah, because this is not the Heron-marked sword, but a blade of light. Like a lightsaber?
Not exactly.
A sword with a blade of light.
Yeah, probably doesn't make the same, like, whooshing sound.
Okay, well, this blade is of the light. And I just sort of went...
Ewan McGregor comes in the scene now.
Oh, I would love that!
Yeah.
I said
there was speculation about Ewan McGregor being in the series.
Ewan McGregor could have been Tam.
Oh, 100%.
Easy.
He could have been all the characters in the series,
and
just
still
dressed
played
differently.
It perfect. Yeah. Oh, Ewan McGregor.
Dress him up with a long braid, be naive. Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, he'd do good.
Yeah.
Good work. Anyway, so this was a little confusing. I just sort of went, what? It doesn't matter, though.
What are you confused about?
The whole, his sword is now a blade of light, of the light.
Well, it's the weapon he knows.
Yeah, okay.
He knows the sword, so he creates a sword.
Right. So he raises this lightsaber up, and it is a fiery white bolt that shoots from the point of it, and it touches the nearest fade, which burns through the fade and creates some crazy blinding light. And here's his mom say, "Thank you, my son," and the light is good or something. I don't know.
It's not that confusing.
Okay.
So I think you're overcomplicating it.
Maybe.
So these fades are attacking the apparition of his mother.
Yep.
He summons a magical light sword and blasts the fades away from his apparition of his mother.
That's
and his mother thanks him for saving him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the only thing that makes me think maybe it's not...
Fake.
Okay.
But again, if I was Balzamon and knew my plan just backfired severely...
Yeah, maybe.
He might be trying to do some stuff here.
Maybe.
So
now all the light is gone, and it's just Beelzemon in the room, but he is pissed. Like, his eyes are no longer burning like furnaces. Now they're burning like the pit of doom.
Yes.
Whatever that is. But it's not the Doom. It's just the regular kind of doom.
Well, you can probably assume what the pit of doom is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we haven't heard any of that, have we?
No, but I just think like the bottom of the lava volcano.
Pit of doom.
Where Gollum falls into with the ring.
Okay.
So it's that.
He shies away from this sword, though, and then calls Rand a fool and says that he will destroy himself. He cannot wield it, so not yet, not until Beelzemon teaches him.
Huge point.
Yeah, that's big. So,
He's got some plans.
Yeah, clearly. So Rand simply says it is ended and swings the sword at Beelzemon's black cord.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And severs it.
The cord rebounds back into Beelzemon, knocking him into the fireplace. And just a little side note, the silent shrieking faces are like silently laughing now, which is kind of funny. And Beelzemon is screaming, and the whole room is shaking and trembling, and the room is breaking apart. And then Rand says again, it is ended, and he points the sword at Beelzemon's heart, and light lances from the blade, and the whole room gets set on crazy fire, brighter than the sun. And
so he basically blows the hell out of Beelzemon with this light sword. Yeah.
And Beelzemon starts to wither away, howling, and then something strikes Rand, turning him into jelly, and he screams from the fire raging inside, the hungry, cold, burning, without end. The end.
Yeah, so again, the whole thing, we have a rule, and when anything is really, really weird, it's probably a dream.
Yes.
We got to see this fireplace room in dream sequences over and over again, and Rand climbed a staircase into this said dream. So we get a lot of similar vibes where it's like everything's kind of not 100% normal. Like, things are weird.
Yeah.
Weird stuff happens here.
Yeah, and that's why I think I question whether or not it is a dream or if these things are happening sort of in an alternate sort of reality.
Okay, so like if anything actually did just happen?
Yeah, I think it all happened because we did get that in dream sequences, real things can happen.
True.
We got Rand bleeding after the dream. He took the piece of wood with him.
Yep.
Real things do happen.
There's consequences.
There are consequences. Okay. And so whether or not this was a dream doesn't necessarily equal that it didn't actually happen.
Gotcha.
I think it was a dream, and I think it happened.
Do you have any thoughts on this whole Black Court of Baalzamon?
Yeah, evil. Black is evil, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
White and light is good. Black and dark is evil.
Yeah.
I think that's the main parallel. I don't know. Because if his power source is coming from the Eye of the World, which is untainted, I would say maybe the Black Cord is tainted.
Okay.
But then, I don't know.
Does that affect him because he's clearly like a evil guy? He's on the bad side.
Right.
So does it matter if it's tainty?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
But I think we need to get right into Chapter 52.
Yeah, let's keep going.
I'm really excited.
A lot of good stuff.
There is neither beginning nor end. And the picture is of the leafy vines.
Yeah, Avendasora leaves.
Yeah. Okay. So Rand wakes up staring up at the sky.
Yeah, because we ended with him like falling into oblivion.
Sort of, yeah. And so now he wakes up. He's sort of back to where he was in reality. And he seems to really not understand anything. He feels the pain and remembers a raging fever and shaking chills that threw him around like a rag doll that gave him bruises everywhere.
And what is that?
At this point, I'm assuming that this is some reaction to channeling.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
But it must have happened like at the same time. Is that sort of like what's going on? You're nodding.
Yes, that is exactly what's happening.
Okay.
This is the thing we've been looking for since the last couple times he's been channeling.
Right.
Where the reaction was like a week away and then a couple of days away. And now we have a reaction to Rand channeling that is essentially immediate.
Immediately after or at the same time. It's unclear about what actually happened. Either in a dream or actually like teleporting around. But what is clear is that there was channeling and this crazy, crazy reaction.
Yes. And basically what we know from what Moraine told about, you know, the women's half of channeling is that if you don't figure it out now, you die.
Yeah.
So it's really the question of, did Rand figure it out?
Yeah. And there's the question, is he going to go crazy? Because men who channel go crazy.
There's a whole bunch of question marks now.
Right. And so, I don't know. I don't have any answers. And I know there's literally one chapter left in this book.
Yeah.
So I just have a feeling that it's not going to be solved or answered.
Maybe. You never know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So Rand looks around and sees these like oily ashes everywhere and bits of green cloth. And Rand remembers his encounter with Aegonor.
Yeah, because he's lying in a dead pool of Aegonor.
Gross.
Yeah.
And this is where I realized, oh, he's back on the mountain in the Green Man's place.
Yes.
Like, at this point, you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Before he, like, teleported to Tarwin's Gap.
Yes. Or mentally teleported. Like, I don't know if he was actually physically there or not.
Pulled a Luke Skywalker. He literally, like, teleports his body and fights Kylo. But he's actually an apparition, so he's, like, ducking and diving and dodging and ducking and dodging.
I don't remember that very well.
It was a huge scene.
I think I've only seen that once.
And then he's actually like just like using the force to like he's still back on the island.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole big deal.
Oh yeah, maybe it's that.
Yeah.
I actually totally remember that now. Yeah.
It's a lot of Star Wars references here.
Yeah,
so.
well it's good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities. So Rand is still pretty sick and out of it. Sort of like that time after the channeling event in Four Kings when he like couldn't walk well and Matt
Shaky
was sort of
legs,
taking care of him.
Yeah.
Because he's all dizzy and nauseous and he vomits and he's trembling.
It's also kind of like when he hit his head though when he fell off the wall in Camelin. Like he was pretty shaky when you hit your head.
That was just a concussion, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit like concussion-y symptoms.
Well, and I mean concussions take a while to heal from, and that was only not very long ago.
Like less than a week.
Yeah, less than a week ago they were in Camelin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny to think about. Like a lot has happened, but he still might be having concussion symptoms.
It's been like 4.5 days, I think.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think that's it, but.
Okay.
Interesting. So he checks for his sword. And it is the heron-marked sword, and Rand seems to be confused about it being something else, or he wonders if there was another sword altogether. He says out loud that his name is Rand al'Thor, and the Dark One is dead. And then he says, Shaitan is dead.
Yeah, this is big.
And he laughs at the sky. And I think... bold move, man.
Well, you also missed the part where as soon as he names the Dark One, the world lurches.
Yes.
There are real consequences to naming the Dark One.
And they probably are going to be worse than some yellow eye fever and crops failing.
Possibly.
Yeah. But, yeah, bold move. Because I really don't think that the Dark One is...
Like, did he literally just kill
or did he, like,
the big bad Dark One?
Did he, like, injure and maim? Like, we don't know that Baal-Zaman is dead, number one. And we also don't know that Baal-Zaman is equal to the Dark One.
We have a large reason to believe that Baal-Zaman is not the same thing as the Dark One.
Right.
We know that they're similar.
Yeah.
We know that they kind of go hand in hand. But from what we can tell... It doesn't seem like they're exactly the same thing.
And Rand is just, like, so confident, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, almost like you hit your head really hard.
Yeah, I just think that there's no way it's that easy. It's almost like Rand doesn't know that there's 13 more books.
What an idiot. Oh, my God. He's so dumb. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But Rand, at this point, remembers Egwene.
He does.
And starts to, like, feebly run back, like, the way that he had come. And I just have a note here about the leaves and the flowers that are showering on him as he runs through all, like, the foliage.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking that the green place is starting to fall apart and die because the Green Man is dead.
Yes, that did happen, and it's happening pretty quick.
Right. And so, well, maybe. We don't actually know how long Rand's been gone or out of it.
Yeah, we don't. But in the scheme of things, if leaves are, like, falling off, like, he didn't die that long ago.
Right.
So
Rand has a moment here when he thinks he needs to find Egwene. And then he thinks, who is she?
Yeah.
So he's, like, pretty out of it.
Yeah.
And he finally gets to the clearing and sees the white stone arch and the giant oak, and now a giant black pit in the ground where fire and wind had tried to trap Aegonor and failed. And then he calls for Egwene, and a pretty girl looks up at him, and two other women are with her, and it's Moiraine and Nynaeve.
And good, yeah. All three, yeah.
Moiraine is lying on the ground with cloaks under her head as pillows, but her eyes are open and she's alive, and Nynaeve...
nobody's dead.
...is alive.
Yay.
Good.
You were right.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a very big chance necessarily that Nynaeve was...
feel...
Yeah.
It didn't feel like that was the moment that anyone was going to die.
Okay.
I think I would have been very shocked and surprised, like very caught off guard, if one of our main crew had died here. So the women are looking at him pretty intently and with uncertainty.
Yeah, because nobody knows what just happened.
Nobody. And
like, everyone's scattered.
Yeah, and Egwene asks if he's all right, and he says, yeah, I'm great, and he laughs, And then he says, with a little rest, he'll be good as new. And Nynaeve says that she has only suffered a few bruises, and Moiraine is the only one who was really hurt. And Moiraine says that she suffered more injury to her pride than anything else. But we also learn here that Moiraine held Aegonor off for a pretty long time.
Longer than he thought she was going to be able to.
Yeah, she surprised both herself and Aegonor by doing that.
But it's also kind of funny because when it says she had her pride hurt more than anything else, like she's got some injuries, it seems like, but it seems like she thought she was going to be able to do better against the Forsaken, which are supposed to be these like crazy powerful monsters from the Age of Legends.
Yes.
Like, how good did you think you were going to do?
Yeah, well, she's clearly good.
Yeah.
In this realm, right?
In the age we are now, she's good, but that's the whole point, is that comparatively...
She thought she could do better. Yeah, that's a good point. But we also learned that in the Age of Legends, Aegonor was almost as powerful as the Kinslayer and Ishamael.
Yes.
And Ishamael is...
the betrayer of hope, who was Aelon from the introduction.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the prologue.
Gotcha. Okay. So, Egwene quotes that the Dark One and all the Forsaken are bound by the Creator and Shale Ghul. Like, maybe...
time to let that one go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's clearly, like, trying to convince herself of something, but...
they never were, in the first place, bound by the Creator.
No. It's all bad.
And they're not bound anymore.
Yeah, she's holding on to something that's not there.
Yeah.
For sure. And this really annoys Moiraine, because sounding like she has already explained this, she says, these two must have been trapped near the surface.
And that's what we heard from Aegonor and Balthamel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so Rand says that it doesn't matter because they are dead and so is... and he starts to say Shaitan... but Moiraine cuts him off.
No.
Yeah. And says that they will still call him the Dark One or Baalzamon, no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, so is Baalzamon the Dark One then?
Rand thinks that Baalzamon is the Dark One.
Yeah, but the way that Moiraine said this sounds the same.
She's saying, let's not say Shaitan, because that clearly brings bad things.
Right. She's saying the Dark One or Baalzamon as if they're synonymous.
She is saying that, but again, this is... we as the reader get to see more than even what necessarily Moiraine knows.
Okay.
We've seen a distinction and a separation.
Okay. It just is very confusing, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Think of it as they're close, but not quite.
Yeah. So, Rand shrugs and says, as you wish. Which, as we know, means I love you.
Yeah.
No?
Little Princess Bride reference.
Yeah,
there.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
But, turns out, he's dead. I killed him. I burned him with my...
oh, no.
And then he stops and remembers all of it and realizes, for the first time in his life, that he 100% used the one power.
Yeah. This is like a bombshell to not just him, in his own mind, figuring out, like, oh my god, what I just do.
Yeah.
But to everyone who's listening to him.
Yeah.
Huge.
So, he can wield the one power, even though no man can. And he stops talking, and the women are just staring at him. And he sort of reaches out to Egwene, but she pulls away from him and turns her face away.
This is huge.
But then she abruptly flings herself at him and apologizes and says she doesn't care.
And how long do you think that's going to last?
True love.
Yeah.
Forever and ever.
But that's huge. I mean, the fact that Egwene, like, this thought that men are dangerous and men who channel, like, it's a rightly, you know, there's a reason for it. But this is so ingrained into Egwene that Rand, who she's known forever, like, when she realizes he can channel, like, is terrified of him.
Yeah. And Nynaeve takes a sort of stoic approach, and she just says that the wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
Who's saying Aes Sedai lines now?
Yeah. And that he is Rand al'Thor from Emond's Field, but he is too dangerous.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What do you think that means to her?
Well, that means he's got to be gentled.
Is that what you think that she's implying?
He's too dangerous?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a pretty severe line for her to say.
Yeah.
You're too dangerous.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Moraine wants to know everything that happened. So, quote, with her eyes on him compelling, he tells her the whole story. And he wants to keep it short and tell the spark notes of the story. But the Aes Sedai's eyes drew everything out of him.
So, what are you reading into that?
I knew that she had some way about her.
She's doing something?
Yeah.
She's doing some channeling?
Channeling, or she clearly has some sort of influencing abilities.
Okay.
Probably, definitely from the power. Right?
Yeah.
But she has a way about her, and I predicted this in Whitebridge, that she was able to get information out of people who otherwise wouldn't be telling her these things. And now we hear it from Rand's brain, how she's compelling him and draws things out of him to get information.
Okay. So the only similarity I had in this situation was when Rand was telling Loyal the story and everything kind of spilled out. But that seems different. Yeah. It's like he hadn't been able to tell his full true story about every crazy thing that's been happening to him until he was with someone he felt he trusted. Okay. That's different. So that kind of spilled out. And here it's like...
It's clear that her eyes drew everything out of him. That's what the writing says. So she has a way about her. She has an influencing power for sure. And so that's not just speculation anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So he says that the light just dragged him along and he really didn't do any of it. It wasn't me.
A little denial here.
Yeah. So Moraine says that she had her suspicions from the first.
And we get a whole bunch of information from Moraine.
Oh, yes. So the token that she gave him originally, the GPS coin, apparently is some sort of brainwashing, do whatever I say token.
Yeah, it's supposed to make you fall in line with whatever she says.
Yeah. But he resisted, which is interesting. And then there was Bella. I just think, nice. Yep. So I had originally thought this definitely had to do with the power, but I thought Egwene was doing the channeling.
Yeah, there was that speculation of who was it.
Later on, because we had that reaction in Baerlon.
Yep, and then we saw more of his channeling events and more reactions, so linking it back to where would he have had to channel.
Yeah, and I knew there was a channeling event that happened with Bella, and so this is just confirmation about that.
Yeah, Moraine's telling us, the reader, that we were in fact correct.
Nice. So thanks, Moraine. Yeah. So Rand shivers and sort of tries to barter a bit, and he goes, "If I never touch it again, then I won't go mad." Yeah. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Right?
I just won't do it anymore.
Yeah. And Moraine just says, perhaps it would be easier if there was someone to teach you. It might be done, but with supreme effort of will.
And who did we just hear offer or try to talk about teaching Rand?
Yeah, we did have that one. That was Baalzamon. Yeah. Obviously. But
it's kind of like double confirmation.
So what I didn't quite get from this interaction, I don't know if she means to teach him to use it or to teach him to suppress it so he doesn't go crazy. Because he says, if I don't use it, maybe I won't go crazy. And she says, perhaps with effort of will, it can be done. So it sort of sounds like she's saying, if you try really hard to suppress it, it'll work. That's what I think, anyway.
Okay. I think Moraine also, you have to understand, is someone who, from what we can tell, isn't able to lie about things.
Oh, yeah.
So her wordplay is like, yeah, you could try not channeling. Yeah. But it's going to be easier if you find someone to teach you or someone to teach you.
Okay. Yeah. So, because I don't think...
But I can't teach you.
I don't think it can be suppressed.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, and that's kind of what it sounds like from her. I don't think that she's implying that she can help him suppress it, and she also can't help teach him. That's not a thing that's going to happen.
Right. So. Okay, so I just want to go back a little bit to the fact that from Emmons Field, Moraine knew he was a Ta'veren and knew he could channel.
Yes.
From the very beginning.
Yes. Not 100%, but like...
Yeah.
Pretty... Hey, look at this guy who's way taller than everyone and looks totally different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and then... She says from the Bella incident, basically knew for sure that he could channel. Said nothing, just kept watching.
Yes.
And then knew that he was ta'veren.
And that's why Moiraine was talking all about who should be in the party, because if there's one person who's going for the wrong reasons, the Green Man's not going to let anyone in.
Yeah.
So that's why she had to be very limited to the crew that was coming along.
Yeah.
So, yes, need was important, but I do think that you're right about Moiraine knows what's up from the get-go.
Yeah, she knew, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's also kind of why she said, I was looking for one, but surprised to find three.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And then that's why, for sure, she wanted him to be there at the Eye of the World to get the untainted Sidin power.
Say that again? I don't understand.
Was Sidin the men or the women?
Yeah, Sidin is the men. So.
Yeah, but she wanted Rand to be there. She knew he was channeling. Maybe she wanted him to have that untainted power. Maybe she knew he could use it, right?
Again, she has these... She sees all these puzzle pieces. She hears the stories about the Eye of the World. So really, it is her like knowing things, but putting it together and putting the pieces in the right place.
Okay.
Bringing Rand to where he probably needs to be.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So, Rand thinks that Moiraine could teach him about the power. And she says, of course not, idiot. A cat can't teach a dog to climb a tree. And I like her analogies about fish swimming and stuff. It's funny.
Yeah, so she's basically saying, no, not going to happen.
Yeah. She knows Saidar and can teach him nothing of Sidin. So those who could teach him are 3,000 years dead, but perhaps he is stubborn enough to just sort of like power through on his own.
Yeah, and figure it out. Yeah. And it's just so interesting that Baalzamon clearly had some sort of intention to teach him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very emperor.
Don't do that, not until I teach you the ways of the dark side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we find out now that the others are in the cavern now, and there is nothing left of the Eye of the World. And this is the point where I suppose Rand took all the power, but like I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what it seems. They were funneling it, like I said, a siphon basically.
And that's what his little light cord was.
Yes.
Was like connected to the Eye of the World.
Yeah, he was siphoning the gas from the tank. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So now turns out there is something at the bottom of that empty pool. And Nynaeve says that everyone wanted to look for Rand before looking at the stuff in the eye, but Moiraine said not to disturb Rand while he was...
Doing something.
Yeah,
but don't worry about it.
Yeah. No time for that now.
But that's pretty crazy. Moiraine knew that Rand was off fighting the battle.
Yep.
Against the Forsaken.
Yep.
And she just let it happen.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She knows.
Yes, she does. So Moiraine says that there was a vast amount of power in the eye, and even in the Age of Legends, very few could have channeled so much unaided without being destroyed.
Yes.
Okay.
Very few.
So Rand is good.
So this is the thing. She previously said that Agenor was right behind Lews Therin and Ishamael.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we saw Agenor burn himself out and get destroyed.
Yeah.
So there's very few people who are strong enough to channel that amount of power.
Yeah.
Agenor is not one of them.
Nope.
So it's kind of like the same way that there's very few people who can channel this much is the same way that there's same way that most of the boys have strong Manetheren blood.
Yeah.
Same way.
So I just think that's a relief that Rand is so good, because you don't want your hero to be like super weak and easily destroyed.
Usually. Yeah.
So it turns out only Lan knows about Rand channeling, but the other boys and Loyal have no need to know yet.
But she also told Nynaeve and Egwene. Yeah. So the only people who are left out of this is Mat and Perrin and Loyal.
Yeah. But Rand asks Moiraine if she will want to be gentling him. Like, why isn't she taking him to Tar Valon to be gentled?
Yeah.
And she just says that he's ta'veren, and maybe the pattern isn't done with him yet.
Just going to dodge that question.
Yep. And I don't really know what this could actually mean, because she clearly avoids it, and she really, really doesn't get along with Red Aja, sounds like.
Red's like the gentleman.
Yeah, and so...
And we know different factions have different ways of dealing with men who can channel.
So maybe she doesn't agree with gentling.
Okay, so gentling's not even on the table then for her.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
And maybe since Rand channeled the pure side in from the Eye of the World, he's not tainted. Maybe he won't go crazy.
Okay, all right.
Maybe he'll be a male Aes Sedai.
All right. So that just give him like the...
Well, yeah, because that's why they go crazy, because Sidin is tainted.
Mm-hmm.
But what he channeled wasn't tainted.
The only downside is now it seems like that pool is used up.
Yeah, but now it's within him.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, now it's in him. He's got it.
So maybe that's why like Agenor wanted to get it for himself? Or...
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Because it clearly like powered him up. Made him younger.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe he won't go crazy because now he's not tainted.
I like it. Okay.
But now if he's going to draw from the true source again, it's tainted, right?
Unless, like you said, it's now within him as a pure source.
Yes.
So,
I'm going to go with that one.
Okay. We'll have to read and find out.
Yes. So, Rand calls Moraine out here on what Baalzamon said, that Tar Valon will try to use him. And he names all the names of all the false dragons and all the people that Baalzamon said Aes Sedai used, including Logain.
Yes.
Who he left out previously.
Yeah, because there's no reason for them to know those previous names.
Yes. So he tells her that he is not a tool that can be used and thrown away. And she says that a tool made for a purpose is not demeaned by being used for that purpose.
And that's a really good line, but at this point, Rand is being like really hard-headed, like pretty stubborn, kind of aggressive.
I think that's just his Two Rivers mentality. I don't think that has anything to do with any of this. I think he's just a stubborn guy.
I agree. But Moraine's saying at this point that, you know what, you are a tool and I'm going to use you like a tool that you were designed to be. That's not going to get through to Rand in the way that I think that she might want.
Well, and not in this moment anyway.
For sure not now.
Like, he's like high on, I just killed the Dark One, so...
and the world's going to be okay now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And she also tells him to not believe the father of lies or you become his hound.
Yes.
Or like something like that. And Rand gets mad and says that he is no one's hound. And then the others sort of appear from the cavern.
Yeah, shoot.
So Moraine reassures Rand that the others will not know until the pattern makes it so. And this is another instance of Rand not really trusting his friends. Similar to Perrin not wanting his friends to know about him.
It's self-conscious, like...
Yeah, and I know they've done lots of making fun of each other and stuff in the past.
Yeah.
And so they're just so sure that their friends won't get it. They don't even want to share, like, who they are. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because Rand immediately shares with Egwene and Nynaeve, but then he's like, oh, Matt and Perrin? No, they can't know.
Well, hopefully that they can all realize soon that they're each going through their own journey.
You mean next chapter?
Oh, yeah, next chapter, yeah. And totally not never, but, you know. Realizing they're going through their own journeys and maybe they can help each other versus be ashamed of it.
Right, and hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and not well. Perrin isn't hiding that there's something wrong here.
Yeah, he's just not talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, okay, I guess we just pretend this didn't happen.
And no one's going to ask questions.
No, it's bad. But Loyal is walking up carrying a large gold chest, and Perrin has his arms around a big bundle of folded cloth, and Matt is carrying some fragments of pottery. And so this is obviously the stuff that was left in the bottom of the eye of the world.
Yeah, there was like a crystal column, it said.
Yeah.
That was like housing this.
Yeah.
So
Matt laughs and says, "You're alive after all." And then he also reiterates that Moraine wouldn't let them go look for Rand, and Perrin chimes in, and Rand notes that Perrin's eyes are not glowing anymore, but the irises are still full yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's daytime now, right? So...
Sure. They were glowing in the Eye of the World, though.
Well, it was darker.
Is that...
Don't
what?
eyes glow in the dark more so?
I don't know.
Like cat eyes and
everything?
everything?
Is that what it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because then later on, when they talk about the Dark One or something, his eyes glow again.
Fiercely? Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know. I don't know any of it. Anyways, Loyal says that traveling with Tavern has been too interesting for him, and if it gets any more interesting, he's going home.
But not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go actually home.
Yeah. So Rand lies and says that he fell down a hill and hit his head on a rock and got knocked out. Super lame.
That's the worst lie ever.
Lame.
Yeah.
Moraine sits up and starts to examine what was left in the eye. So the pottery pieces fit together to form the symbol.
Yes, the ancient symbol of the Aes Sedai.
That one. With the Dragon's Fang and the Tarvalin flame.
Yes, and this is the first time we've heard of the Flame of Tarvalin.
Yeah, which is the white side.
The white side.
Yeah.
And that's what all those chapter headings were.
Right.
Yes.
Because there were some Dragon Fang ones, but then we had the other side as well.
And we didn't have a name for it.
Okay, Tarvalin Flame.
Flame of Tarvalin.
Right. That's what I said. So, turns out that this pottery is actually made of some indestructible material.
I noticed how you glazed over the name of it.
Called Quendilar.
Quendiar. Yeah.
Or Heartstone. Heartstone I can say.
Heartstone's better.
It hasn't been made since the Age of Legends, and any power cast at the Heartstone only makes it stronger, and turns out it was one of the 7 seals on the Dark One's prison.
Yes, so in this chapter we've gotten a whole bulk of information to clarify what the Dark One's prison is. Because previously in the chapter we heard them talk about a patch that was put over the Dark One's prison.
Yeah.
And that links back to the prologue when Lews Therin is talking about how
he's trying to mend it.
He's trying to mend something that the creator made and they broke, and he was prideful enough to think he could even do it. Yeah, but was not. So
this Heartstone was somehow broken, but we don't learn that now.
No
time.
And like Lan brings a knife down on it and doesn't do anything to it, so...
Yep, but it's broken.
It is.
Somehow.
Yeah, and again, just to reiterate the fact that now we know that there's literally 7 of these Quendiar seals that form this...
Dark One's prison.
Yeah, the patch on it, at least.
Yeah, okay.
So, and that's what's going to bust open, and now 1 is broken.
And that's probably how some of the Forsaken got out.
Makes sense.
Yeah, okay. And then, moving on, in the chest is a gold horn, and Moraine says that it must be carried to Ilion. And I just think, well, that was an easy hunt.
Yeah, easy.
Nothing great about this hunt.
Not for them.
Nope. Here it is. Found it.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. They have the horn now, but now they have to get it to Ilion.
Oh, they have to get it to Ilion.
Yeah.
Ah. Is that what the cover is on the Great Hunt?
You're not supposed to look at that cover yet.
I looked.
I know we're only 1 chapter away here. But...
Yeah. No, I looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but... Because isn't the Great Hunt to search for the horn of Villiers?
Well, that's what we're led to believe.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, we found it. That was
that's
easy.
True. But again, getting it here is half the battle.
Okay.
So.
You mean getting it to Ilion?
Getting the horn in your hands is one thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, if you reach the treasure in the dragon's cave, that's one thing, but how do you get the treasure out of the cave?
So can you not summon heroes of the past unless you're in Ilion?
We don't know how it works. All we know that the horn is supposed to be used.
That was...
Yeah, to summon back.
You almost answered that differently. I could see it in your face. You were like...
You don't even know.
Yeah.
You have no idea what I'm trying to hide here.
I know, a lot probably.
Anyways, we don't know how the horn actually works.
Okay, so there is a script on the horn in the old tongue, and Loyal reads it.
Yeah.
And it says, "The grave is no bar to my call."
Yes.
And so then, clarification, this is the horn of Valir, and it's Lan who says that it's the horn of Valir, and for once, he actually seems shaken with a touch of awe in his voice.
Well, I mean, like, calling back dead heroes.
That's huge.
To fight the Dark Ones.
Yeah, and that's what Nynaeve says, right? To call the heroes of the ages back from the dead to fight the Dark One.
Very cool.
I have a plan. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Here's what we do.
Do it now?
Yeah, we do it now. We summon up some of those Age of Legends guys.
Sure.
To teach Rand about channeling Saidin.
Oh, okay.
And then also find a way for him not to go crazy.
Sure.
Easy.
And what else?
Make 13 more books about that.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Sounds like a good plan. They should just, like, blow the horn now.
Is that how they get the heroes?
Well, it's a horn.
Ah.
You shove it up your butt? You take the horn.
And shove it up your butt.
It's a little Stanley for you there.
That's so funny. But, okay, do you like my plan?
How would you use the horn?
I don't know. I bet Maureen knows how to use it.
It's not like a magical lamp where you rub it and then
it might be.
Genie pops out.
It might be.
Will Smith comes out and does a dance.
Something happens. So, listen. Because Moraine made a reference to people who can teach Rand being 3,000 years dead.
True.
Summon him up, teach Rand.
So, is this like a one-time use horn,
though?
No,
I don't know.
Can you just do it at will?
But
is it a
important.
3 wishes situation?
It's important because it's to fight the Dark One. That's why you can summon the heroes from the past.
And fighting the Dark One would involve Rand learning how to harness his power.
Yeah, because clearly he's really strong and good.
Okay. You know what? It's not a terrible plan.
And I can't tell you how the horn works until I read The Great Hunt.
Okay.
Because I think that's about the horn.
Okay. It's not a terrible...
Well, it's called The Great Hunt for the Horn of Valir.
No, it's called The Great Hunt.
No. That's what the hunt is called in this book.
Called, yeah.
We've heard that.
That's true.
Okay. Well, anyways, Moraine starts to wonder if the Eye of the World was actually supposed to guard these things.
But let's talk about this, because the Eye of the World was originally created for the greatest need that mankind had ever known or would possibly ever know.
Yeah.
So the greatest need in the world. So that kind of begs the question.
Moraine starts to reconsider maybe what we used it for wasn't actually the greatest need, and maybe the greatest need was guarding these things.
But I mean, let's look at what they've accomplished with the eye, right? Yeah. They have the Horn of Valir.
Yeah.
They have a broken seal.
Yeah.
They have what we find out really
Dragon's
soon. The
flag.
Dragon's banner, which is pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Good to have a flag. And then we have Rand, who killed, from what we can tell, Aegonor. Yeah. And possibly Baelzamon in some
Injured
fashion.
him in some way.
Injured him possibly. Yeah. Balthamel, so that's 2 Forsaken. And then Balzamon possibly injured.
Yeah, but is that the world's greatest need?
But consider this. He destroyed the entire horde of Trollocs and Fades and Drakkar.
Saved Shinar.
Which saved Shinar. And if the Shinar falls, what happens?
Moraine does know that part. He told the whole story.
He told the whole story, so she knows that. But then he literally saved the entire country.
Tell Lan. Lan will be happy to hear that, I bet.
Maybe.
You don't think Lan wants Shinar to survive? He was feeling bad that he couldn't help them, I bet.
Might be a little jelly because, his kingdom's already destroyed, but...
Maybe
a little bit. But that's the thing, is it would be literally like a new Trolloc war if
But Moraine is just having second thoughts about it all.
Yeah, so what was the real intention?
Because these things are pretty sweet. So, the last thing here that we get is a bundle of cloth, which turns out to be a long white banner with a freaking dragon on it. Like, how pointed is that? And then we get the banner of the Lord of the Morning, of Luz Theron Telamon, of the dragon.
So this is very cool because we don't actually have any reason to believe that dragons exist in this universe.
Yeah.
But we have a man called the Dragon, and his flag is a symbol of...
It's like a serpent with legs.
A serpentine dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is very Eastern, right?
Yes.
We did a bonus episode about that.
Yeah, we did.
So it's just kind of funny of, are dragons a real thing in this universe? Are they going to come up? Or is it just literally a symbol on the flag to represent Luz Theron?
Right.
So.
Okay. So the green man's place is dying. We get this here that the blight is killing it. And they are going to spend the night here, rest, and leave early. And then Rand asks Moraine, is it done then? It is finished, right?
Yeah, you killed the Dark One.
And she says that we have done what we came here to do. And from here, you may live your life as the pattern weaves. Eat, then sleep, Rand al'Thor. Sleep and dream of home.
Dream of home.
Yeah, don't go home,
but
though.
But don't go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, book's done.
No, I have a chapter to read tonight.
Don't even need to.
Did you know? I'm going to finish this book.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going to finish it.
All right.
And I'm excited.
So here, I do have a question.
Okay.
So we know that for intents and purposes, the mission they set out to accomplish at the Eye of the World is, in fact, achieved.
Yes.
They did something. They kind of saved the world in some fashion here and now today.
Yeah.
Rand can do stuff. He's a channeler, right? We know that. We don't exactly know what that means, but we know that Moraine told the others that they're done and they can go home now. Of the group, do you think that anyone is going to actually go back to Emond's Field?
No.
None of them?
No. Matt needs to go to Tarvalon to get healed.
Okay.
Because we already have him getting cursed again. Recursed,
yep.
If you will. And Perrin said, I want to go home. Perrin might head for home, but I don't think he'd make it.
To get sidetracked?
Yeah.
Or like killed?
Yeah, sidetracked.
Sidetracked? Okay.
Sidetracked. And
okay,
then
so,
Nynaeve and Egwene are going to Tarvalon, and Rand...
Where's Rand going? Is Rand going to Tarvalon with Matt and Nynaeve and Egwene?
Maybe he's going to studying Shanghai with Loyal.
Okay.
I'd like that. I also think that, obviously, some of them are heading south to Ilion.
To bring the horn.
With the horn.
Okay.
And that's an important mission.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Can I go read it now?
Yeah, go read. Okay.
All right.
Finish the book.
Okay. It's part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Wheel Weaves. If you're interested in bonus content, cool stickers, shoutouts, access to exclusive insider looks, and to support us making great content, you can head over to patreon.com/The Wheel Weaves podcast. You can find us on social media where we love interacting with our listeners. We're on Twitter at The Wheel Weaves Podcast and on Instagram at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. You can also join the conversation on our Discord channel. There is a channel for no spoilers that I have access to, and we also have a spoilers channel that Brett controls, so fun for everybody. There will be a link on Twitter and also over on our Patreon page. You can check that out. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe. This really does make a huge difference. Plus, if you want to tell a friend about us, maybe someone who is just getting into the book series for the first time, or other longtime fans who you think would enjoy us, word of mouth is the best way for us to reach new listeners, and we would take it as a really huge compliment. Thanks, as always, to audionautics.com for the music, and thanks to you awesome listeners.